I just showered and my bangs are a little too clean. They're a little too fluffy. Well, hello. I thought it would be a good idea to spend some time catching up, answering some questions, and just getting to know each other as well. It's been about a year since my first and my last Q&A, so I think we're due for a new one. I pulled these questions from my community tab, threads, and Instagram DMs as well. Similar to last time, I'm gonna divide these questions into two sections. The first one being something personal and the second one being photography/YouTube related. The first and the most asked question was, do you have any travel plans this year? If so, where? I've been flying a lot for work, but that doesn't necessarily mean I'm traveling. So I definitely want to travel some more this year. I do have a pretty big one coming up soon, which you might have noticed from my recent videos. But besides that, I do want to go back to San Francisco, spend a weekend there, take a lot of pictures, revisit all my favorite places. I always want to go back to New York, but that's not my travel plan. That's more of I want to go back there and hang out with my friends. But I would love to go to Canada, whether that's Vancouver or Banff. I would love to go to Marrakesh, go to Beijing and really spend some time there. I've been to Beijing so many times in the past for work, but I never got to explore/travel. So right now I have 2 solid travel plans, but I would love to expand that to 4 or 5. How would you describe a perfect day? I'm going to assume this is not a work day because I do have a 9 to 5, and that doesn't mean because you're working during the day, you cannot have a perfect day. But since my time is limited during the week, I'm going to make a hypothetical weekend day. A Saturday, let's say. Generally speaking, I wake up very early. I've been getting a little better at waking up later, aka 6:30 in the morning. But I will wake up around that time, snuggle with my cat in bed. From there, I would either go to a coffee shop and read for a little bit, or make breakfast at home. And if I'm spending the day by myself, I would probably go to a bookstore, go to a restaurant I've been wanting to go to for lunch, go shopping, even if it's just browsing, come home, do laundry, vacuum, make dinner, have a nice glass of wine, watch a movie, and go to sleep. If I'm spending the day with a friend or two, have coffee/breakfast at home, meet up with my friends at a coffee shop, go shopping, look around, try new restaurants. Honestly, it's not that different from my solo day. But instead of making dinner at home, I will probably go out for dinner and go to some bars. I think the biggest difference would be us going out for dinner and going to bars after. Or either I cook, they cook, and we all stay home, watch a movie, hang out, play board games. That's my perfect day. What do you do for work? Where do you work? This is something I don't talk about mainly because of my privacy. But I will say my last 2 companies were Google and Instagram. What is your goal for this year? Personally, I would love to become more physically fit. I used to box, but I stopped after an injury. I run, or I used to run, but not anymore. I go to a Pilates studio here and there, but Pilates lessons are expensive. I've been wanting to go back into boxing, but it's so hard to find a gym in this area that actually teaches you all the techniques. A lot of the boxing gyms I see in LA tend to focus more on the weight loss aspect of the sport. And that's not really what I'm looking for. I want to build muscles. Honestly, I need to start lifting again. And outside of my personal goal, I would like to create a photo book. How are you liking LA? I don't know what I said last time, but it's definitely getting better. I've been meeting a lot of great people, and I think the cohesiveness of all those relationships are getting stronger. So that's a really good feeling. And I've also been kind of putting myself out there to meet more people. I will go to a local coffee shop and meet all the regulars there, talk to them, get in touch with them, and hang out some more. That's kind of a long way of saying, because of the people I'm meeting, LA has been more tolerable. Do I love it? Not really. Do I like it? Yes. Do I still want to go back to New York? Yes, but the desire isn't as big anymore. Also, it's been raining a lot here, so I'm kind of enjoying that. Who is your style inspiration? This is an interesting question because on YouTube, you only get to see my upper half. And I don't even post that many selfies on Instagram. Do I have one? Alexa Chung used to be my favorite, but I want to say it's probably Camille Rowe. What are your hobbies? I read a lot. I like to solve puzzles. I'm learning how to play chess. I knit a lot. And obviously, I like to take photos. If there is a new hobby that I want to start, it would be videography. and ceramics. Pretty much all the expensive hobbies. Alright, let's go into some photo related things. What is the best compliment you've ever received ever since starting YouTube? It's not necessarily YouTube related, but I guess my photos in general. From two separate people. First person, this person left LA in a hurry because of a big mess they made. They burned a lot of bridges and they just could not stay in LA anymore. After leaving the city in a hurry, this person never looked at LA the same way again. They thought LA was filthy, dirty, people were so mean and rude and cruel. But after looking at my photos, their perspective changed and they said something along the lines of, "You gave me the courage to go back to LA and face my problems because through your photos, I realized how much I missed the city." So that is one of them. And the second person, it was actually a couple in San Francisco. It was either they were supposed to get married in San Francisco or get married and come to San Francisco as their honeymoon. Because of COVID, that didn't happen. So this person and their partner, they really took their time to go through all my Instagram posts from San Francisco and felt like they were there with me. They said, even though we couldn't be there, it felt like we were there with you because of how intimate your photos were. So those two instances stand out the most to me right now. What made you want to start YouTube? To be completely honest, I wanted to do something more than mobile photography. I already had my Fuji, and a good chunk of my followers come from my old photo days when I had my 30D and even the 5D Mark II. So I've always wanted to share my photography outside of Instagram because I post 100% iPhone photos on that platform, and because I'm so interested in the why of things, I thought it would be a good opportunity to show how I'm approaching my subject and why I decided to get that image. What would you be doing right now if you didn't start a photo YouTube channel? Make a knitting channel? Is there a style of photography you would like to try? Yes, I would love to capture behind the scenes of sets, events, or even photo shoots in general too. I spent a few years working at a modeling agency, and my favorite thing to do during show season was to capture behind the scenes photos. I always say it's more romantic to look at the small details in the big picture, and capturing what goes behind the scene, aka the big picture, the final image, that's so much more interesting to me. What is your favorite place to take photos? Coffee shops. If you're sitting in one place for let's say 2 to 3 hours, because of the quick turnaround nature of coffee shops, you're gonna see so many people come and go, and with that, you have new subjects to photograph every time. Also, coffee shops are great to photograph in general because you get to photograph the interior, the people, the little details they have, and especially if that coffee shop turns into a bar at night, that's a whole nother story. Do people ever ask you why you're taking pictures? Why I'm taking pictures as in, why are you into photography? Or why are you taking pictures of me / that random thing over there? Either way, no one's ever asked me that. Do you use a lens hood with the X100V or I guess X100V? Or use any other accessories when shooting? I have a glimmer glass, that's it. What inspired you to start doing street photography? I've always been interested in cityscapes and how the cityscape changes per season and per time of the day. I think it was just natural for me. Whenever I traveled somewhere, I was always interested in taking street photography like photos. Back then, I didn't know that style was called street photography. I thought it was just urban photography. But after exploring for a little bit, street photography tends to be the niche that I really enjoy. Do you have any favorite photographers? Tim Walker. What does a typical photo day look like? Seeing that I do have a 9-to-5 job, it's kind of hard for me to say I have a photo day. It takes me about 2 to 3 days to photograph everything for one video. If I have a theme, I would think about all the places / neighborhood to go to. If I don't have a theme and if I just want to go with the flow, I'll bring my camera to all the places that I'm gonna go to on weekends. When do you know you want to use your phone versus your camera to take photos? That's a good question. I've been doing both. So a lot of the places you see in my videos, you're gonna see on Instagram as well, whether that's through stories or a feed post. Ooh, I will say, most of the time, if there's an iPhone photo, there's a camera photo. But if there's a camera photo, there might not be an iPhone photo. Where would you like to go for a road trip photography? National parks? Or I would even drive to a random city I've never been to before. So let's say Memphis. From LA to Memphis, I don't even know how long that's gonna take, but as I'm driving, I can take breaks in small cities here and there, go to a local diner, stay at an inn, and take a lot of photos that I would not normally take in a city. Oh, that sounds so fun. Will you ever shoot film and make a video? I could, I would, and I thought about it. The biggest issue is that it takes me such a long time to finish a roll film. So by the time I finish my roll and get it developed, it's been too long. All the things I want to talk about, it's been too long. Although this did just give me an idea, so Yeah, I would. And I will. Last question. How often do you go out for your photos, and do you always have good results? Or how many times are you coming back with no good photos / results? A good example would be Hollywood. I think I went there 4 to 5 times in the beginning and came back with no photos. Maybe one okay photo. I will go back to the same place over and over again until I get good photos, but it also depends on what I'm looking for. Do I want to photograph people, architecture, shoot in black and white, or is it raining? Is it sunny? Is it nighttime versus daytime? So it really depends on what I'm looking for and the purpose of that visit. But I would say 7 out of 10 times I do come back with a good amount of photos that I'm satisfied with. The other times, no. Maybe there's a construction. Maybe I didn't really know what I was looking for. Maybe I just didn't have the right mindset to be creative that day. Or maybe I was just having a bad day and I couldn't really do anything about that. There are a lot of factors that play into it, and I think that's the beauty of photography in general. You're not always gonna have good photos. You're not always gonna have a good shoot day. But I think it's just so important to know that bad photo day does not mean you're a bad photographer. Crappy days happen, even monkeys fall from trees. That's all I have for today. I've been recording for an hour straight now. Oh my gosh. If you have any other questions, leave them in the comments. I'll get back to you. Besides that, I'll see you next time.